have to wonder how it would be. And I think life is all about experiences, bad or good ones. The universe doesn't know the difference. But what I believe in, you would become so-called more fearless. And because a lot of young people like to talk about being fearless, but you know, if you really ask a couple of things and put the work in, then the fearless is totally still in the baby shoes. And very quick vlog. A lot of 25-year-olds have never been properly hit in the face or got hit in the face. Is that really necessary, this kind of talk? Not really. But if you fortunately enough that you at least have been beat up or something, and that's always, and there are levels to the game, but the thing is, then you know that's a part of life that you not have to wonder how it would be. And I think life is all about experiences, bad or good ones. The universe doesn't know the difference. But what I believe in, you would become so-called more fearless. And because a lot of young people like to talk about being fearless, but you know, if you really ask a couple of things and put the work in, then the fearless is totally still in the baby shoes. And that is not to disrespect, but what qualifies me to talk like this, see, I have been forced to do things on a very young age. When I was 7 or 8, I had to spend somewhere 2 weeks, and people were bashing bananas at night in my face because according to them I was a monkey and I deserved to eat bananas. This is not a boo-hoo story, but that opened the gate for me to become incredibly aggressive. In the meantime, I just look around me because there are people a little bit over here, and I came with this thought or this thing just to share it, that also, let's say, the bad things in life, you know, they are simply part of the deal to become more fearless. So whatever the label of society is about, somebody who gets hit in the face or something, you know, the labels are very quickly set to something negative. But what I would say, very good that you get beat up or that you get hit in the face or whatever, because it is part of becoming more fearless. And like I always say, there are levels to the game. Things can be, let's say you're innocent, you get beat in the face, you get discriminated and that kind of stuff. And I do believe strong people, they only get stronger, and as long as you don't die from what is happening to you, I think it will set you up of a life of deeper relationships with deeper meanings. You will also not only live a life of more probably ups and downs, and it's not only because of the beat ups, it's also, let's assume, and let's do a comparison. So young people who are have very well treated, constantly at home, nothing stressy, you know, they constantly say, yo little Timmy, come on my lappy, and everything is very good, the world is a pink world, you're the best person on the planet. But you know, that is also, in my opinion, that is something to set them up for failure, in a way that their life is not going to be having a lot of in-depth experiences. It will be school, mortgage, woman, maybe one divorce, children, grandpa, become a grandpa, and die. But that's not, that is again the timeline. After your 50s, you're probably gonna say, I missed here and there the things, and everybody knows that there is something wrong. And when, for example, I see the world in a little bit of a different place, and I'm not justifying violence over here, but I do believe that it is good for somebody's development, and especially when things are faced individual. Hey, you know, you got a bunch of hooligans and they beat up other hooligans. That is something, you know, that doesn't add anything up to your courage, because you know, alone, that's when you actually show, or then you have the opportunity to show courage, and not only to show courage to other people, more or less to prove to yourself that you're not afraid. Hey, you can go, you call a couple of buddies and you start beating up people because they wear different colors, or maybe you're a hardcore racist or whatever, you know, you gather and then you do your thing. But that is the kind of violence that is more in the coward way. With all the respect to the hooligans and everybody who is into that kind of stuff, I would say a courageous person can prove him or herself every time when they face things alone, and also embrace adversity, and not only getting hit in the face, also mentally, and then keep it for themselves, not spreading the word of negativity, you know, how hard life is on you and all that kind of normal people behavior. I always stimulate people, tell me what is wrong, what do you do about it, and embrace it. Ask for more, because this is another thing. When things are painful, just increase. The same with breakups. Okay, the first maybe the first 10 breakups, you know, you don't feel good about it, and still for me it's also still not a pleasant thing to do, but you know, it is what it is. That's how I see it now, and that is simply by repeating things. But I'm not telling you also to become a slut or whatever. If you go live in multiple countries, and or growth focused, and or very highly disciplined, and or, you know, got a bigger purpose in life than the average person, trust me, you will get fed up quickly with people who want to settle. And that is something really common amongst the mediocre people. And I'm not looking down on mediocre people, but some people need to develop things in order to feel fulfilled. Some people also really have the hunger to feel fulfilled, not only to fill up the pockets, because there are a lot of people that let's say it like this, a lot of people that I know, they make maybe a couple of million per year. Everything is incredibly fragile. That includes the relationships with their wives. Very, very fragile. Not only this, their business models, if they would do a little sidestep that put them in a very their reputation on the line, they would lose everything. Not only this, they would lose clients. What kind of foundation is this? Well, that is simply built upon living a life that is not built upon building your inner character. And what I'm many times talk about, that's why I also hammering on the disciplines. Every time that you don't want to do something like training, increase your maybe physique, but more importantly your character. So today, for example, I'm just going to tell you what I did today. Today I did 7-kilometer run plus I think around 2 kilometers on the stairs running. Do I enjoy that? No, not really. Is it painful? No, running on the stairs is pretty painful. I actually made a video about it. The thing is, every day a little bit growth in your character, maybe a little bit of breakup, maybe a disagreement with your so-called friend. Let's see how real this relationship is, how much reality they can handle. But in order to start speaking more real, you have to get in contact with reality. Getting hit in the face tells you a couple of things. Hey, life is pretty intense. Hey, getting hit in the face is something very real. There is nothing to deny about it. There is nothing in between. It hurts, yes, but in one way it feels, yeah, okay, I think a little bit different about it. Now that I'm a little bit older, I'm calmer. But when it's about myself, the first time that I got hit in the face, I didn't like it. I also, when I came out and when I was young, I turned also into myself. But this is the thing, there were not people around me that I could have, let's say, sophisticated talks with to guide my insanity, because I was always very, very intense with everything. You know, I'm very honest about that. And then at one point I ended up in a fight. I think I was 10, And then I ran crying home, and then my father gave me the lesson of my life. He said, if you don't beat up that guy, then I will beat you up. And I'm till this day, I'm always very grateful for that, because that put me all over the top. Okay, then there was a little bit of side thing about that. Of course, all fear to get hit was melting away, but after that I also became incredibly aggressive, because then I also had this thing that I pretty much felt invincible. But especially that also taught me another thing, that I should listen to my emotions. If I would be angry, I should justify it with, let's say it, violence, and that is not a good way to express your emotions. Like I said, you know, I'm very honest about a lot of stuff, but now that I'm 47, I'm way much calmer, and I do believe that it is good to get hit in the face. I do believe that you ran into maybe a beat up, and not some drunken escapade, you know, that you accidentally had. You know those videos, right, where guys looked at they drunk and they actually fight, like with all the respect to women, but they look like fighting women, right? See, that is something that you don't want, right? You tell the universe that you're simply not ready for the bigger things in life. And if you, let's say it like this, if you want to have, let's say, a quality woman, do you think that you can? Hey, is this all about fighting? No, but you should be able to actually protect the bigger things in life, the nicer things in life, and the things that other people look at because they cannot get it. And the only way you can get it is simply doing things that other people don't do. The same with building character. You have to tell the universe that you're ready. And this is what I also talked about in one other vlog. Just put in the work. Things that are beneficial for your character, beneficial for your health, the way you present yourself, maybe the way you communicate, everything, you know, takes time to get or reap the rewards, if they even come. And if you actually start building your character, start looking at after what you put in your body, you add some vitamins, you drink more water, you start actually maybe getting hit in the face a couple times, you break up here and there with a woman, you finally speak to the woman that you're actually, you know, building up the you know, you idolized her, and then you get so nervous. Just do things, bam, 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 bam. Life is too short to mess it up. But what I also believe, once you get a little bit more intense, your life becomes way much more colorful, and the universe will grant you with more and more and more nice, deeper meaning experiences. Hey, yeah, you can go for the classics, you know, go to school, graduate, be happy, get drunk on your graduation party. I don't know what is really the name of those parties, because I never did those things. What else do you can do? Oh yeah, then you get maybe university stuff for a couple of years. What else? Then you go for a mortgage. Probably you find your woman over there, because yeah, you get your nose pushed in the same environment every single day, so you probably get attached to one or two of the women over there, and then you get a house. Done deal. And then you probably gonna get a job, maybe you get a raise here and there, happy, drunk, and Netflix, and then you reach 65, and then you start thinking, whoa, this is creepy. Telling you, I talk with older people who live that very normal life. And then you might think, yeah, Dallin, how is it possible that you talk with those people? Well, trust me, I'm talking with people who sit on the street, to people. Okay, I have to think about my words, because I'm now in the country where I'm sitting with some people that they don't want to be mentioned. So, but anyway, a very colorful palette. And not only in this country, in multiple countries. So, in order to give your life a little bit more color, and not only this, it also pulls you out of your own head. If life is so interesting that it constantly has some kind of commotion, I'm not telling you just to start looking for problems. It's more in depth. You won't find people who also lived a little bit more alive. What does that do? You can have a very nice conversation. Not only this, a lot of other things. See, I'm not gonna get into the 18 plus things, but a lot of people have very plain experiences with a lot of things that don't actually, you know, that is not beneficial for any kind of person on the planet where you actually would start living with a spouse. You want to bring value to the table, right? And of course I also know a lot of people like, you know, the very plain life that I've previously, you know. But this is the thing, deep inside people are, and this sounds maybe a little bit, you know, weird, but I do believe deep inside we are still all animals. Civilized, but animals. And civilized is of course a very, very, very generic label, because deep inside a lot of people have also very sick thoughts. And not only this, they also they hold a lot of desires. A lot of desires, because what does papi mommy say, or this and this, or you know, what does society say? And in the moment that you get stuck in some sort of business model that you have to wear a suit and lick ass to make a couple of dollars, yes, you miss out because you hold back, because other people, you know, might think or might judge you, and then you lose your income because of other. So your whole life is built on, you know, what if other people do this? What if I, you know, I'm gonna tell you this. For me, there is nothing that now, my business models are all based upon, I can tell the world, no, anything that people would find about me online, and things, I have a very diverse palette of content also out there, but the thing is, nothing. There is nothing that people can find and say, oh, that is inappropriate or something like this, or and then I lose my income. No, I just do everything more, because I am very open-minded. And not only this, I speak with so many people from multiple countries. But I'm not over here to talk about me. This is simply what I love. I love in-depth. I like to explore all kind of areas, all the possibilities of life. I've been there, done that, and now more, maybe a little bit more controlled, but still I go all the way. There is the things that I'm doing, they're all the way, not half work. And of course that also you know, a lot of people that I'm running into, they also, many people, they will understand and see in the beginning a lot of things are interesting. But the moment that you see that people go a little bit the extra mile, and in my case, I'm not bragging over here, I'm just sharing, because I lived a colorful life, and it gave my current life, gives my current life also a very in-depth experience. Serious. And that's why I love to talk with people, because for me, that they're not, I don't see people as subjects, don't think like this. But I love to interact with people, leave a little bit a smile, leave a little bit value, and leave a little bit of thought that might direct them to some sort of improvement. And like I said yesterday, I'm never in the preaching thing if I don't live it. But because I also lived a very colorful life, I can speak from experience, and also people can hear it, people can feel it. You know, you also got those, you know, in the past I had to visit psychiatrists and all that BS. Those people didn't tell me anything. The only thing that you get at the end, that you labeled as this and this and blah blah blah, and then they fill you up with a boatload of things that are totally unnecessary. And I'm going to talk about this very quickly. They also put me on all kind of drops and to equalize my feelings, and also the classic one, Ritalin, and another one. And the thing is, I took it for 7 days. Nah, you turn into a zombie. And my inner animal said, that's not you, that's not me. I was sitting at one point in a gym, and I was a total zombie. Threw it away. Anyway, just sharing, try to give your life a little bit more in depth, because deep inside everybody wants a little bit more. Maybe you're not as courageous as necessary yet, And then you need to be courageous. You need to get step to this woman. You need to say what you, if you want to. Okay, there are limits to the game, but if you really want to live a life that gets more colorful, do what you want to do, say what you want to say, but also mean what you say and say what you mean. Yeah, maybe that is a better one. Say what you mean and mean what you say, but also know what you actually mean. That is maybe also something that you should figure out. But you can only figure out to test it. Just test it. Just say things. Maybe there's some weird. You know what? Who gives a thing? I said so many ridiculous things in my life. You don't want to know. And probably I don't remember everything because I was also for a long time hammered and filling up my other things. But also this, we're not getting into this. But that also gave my life very colorful memories. And not only this, the relationship that I had, you know, and then you also start enjoying life together in depth. Do I regret anything? No. And the fact that I did those things I can share, but also the outcome from it. See, like I always say, I did things a little bit over the top. Not only a little bit, got me many times in a lot of problems. But not only this, problems are only little tiny hurdles you have to overcome. Challenges. I also believe in this. If people not getting challenged on a daily basis, and I'm not talking about making an extra sales call, I'm talking about challenges. You know, you might lose your freedom. You might get hit in the face when you move a specific location. Maybe a little bit more extreme, but we're not getting into this. But you know, that is the thing, right? That makes things like, because if you would look at yourself, and I'm talking to you, if you would be the star in your own movie, is it worth watching? Very simple question, right? Is it worth watching? Is there some value for other people in it? You know, and this is also something, when you get children, what do you bring to the table? If you really look in the mirror, are you a coward at the moment? Well, I'm telling you, if you make a couple of children, well, I'm not telling that your children are cowards or they're gonna be cowards, but you know, you want the better for them. Let's say it like this: if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your blood that comes, or maybe it's now present already, and you pretty much out of shape and everything, mentally and physically. Then try to put in the work, do something that they can say, now my dad, and of course in everybody's child, and daddy is the best one, but children also have eyes and they also look at other daddies. And think about this, that is again about the human nature, competitive nature. Some people have it a little bit more than others, and this is not about destroying or winning from everybody. It's about pulling out the best what you can do. You know, maybe you have some physical limits or whatever you can come up with, and to take a look at your, like I said also in one vlog, just start with you know, with tiny things. For example, if you drink a lot of cola, let's say 10 bottles of cola every week, start with 1 bottle less. Baby steps, you know, because mental or any kind of changes always require a little bit more mental energy, you know, because I'm daily busy. So for example, the past 72 hours I integrated speaking with AI non-stop instead of typing, so I don't type anymore. So that saves me on an average in the next 7 days it will save me around 6 hours. But to switch from this and this, different work structure, and that's what I'm doing for a living. I create work structures and then also optimize them non-stop. But that gives also every single action that I take, that are first of all compounding, but not only this, they also I pinch easily through the boredom, because I always look for ways to improve it, to speed it up, maybe less effort, more result. I'm obsessed. And if you would talk with me, I'm very knowledgeable and experienced, I would say more experienced, with a lot of facets of life. So if you sometimes perhaps want to talk, don't hold back, just drop a DM in my Instagram, you know, serious. And I always love to talk with people. Not only this, I'm never judgmental, and you have to be really insane if I would say, no, that is pretty insane. Then you really go all over the top. I do have my limits. You don't hit animals, you don't hit women, you don't hit children. If you do those things and you feel a little bit depressed about it, then you deserve what you had coming. And I would even wish worse on you. So that is, my boundaries are very clear and very simple. I'm a simple man. Anyway, just saying, try to give your life a little bit more color. And if you don't do it for yourself, look at your future children, present them with a better version of you. Are you not good enough? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying try to be a role model, and a role model that is a little bit above the average. You don't need to be over there with the super athletes. I also don't have those desires. I got different desires. But anyway, quick short vlog. I'm out from Sofia, Bulgaria.